Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. We certainly are happy to have you here. Normally, we do recipes on Sundays that have been sent to us from our subscribers. But for the month of September, we are doing subscriber recipes for every video. So today's recipe was sent to us from Kathleen Hannigan, who signed her letter as Kate, and she is from Imperial, Pennsylvania. Now, the recipe that she sent to us is for Shoo-Fly Pie. I know for a fact that Shoo-Fly Pie is traditionally an Amish or a Mennonite recipe. So I'm assuming since Kate is from Pennsylvania and she has sent us a Shoo-Fly Pie recipe that she probably received this from the Amish community there. Maybe not, but I'm assuming that. Let's talk about what we're going to use to make Shoo-Fly Pie. And I'm going to tell you, it only has 6 ingredients and it's as simple to put together as it can possibly be. So I think you're going to like this one. All right, here's what we're using. We're going to start with 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar, and 1/4 cup of butter, which is 1/2 of a stick or 4 tablespoons. Now, those 3 ingredients are going to be combined, and we're going to use a pastry cutter to cut the butter into the flour and sugar because that's our topping. It's kind of like a crumb topping that you're going to put on top of the pie, but it's just those 3 ingredients. If you don't have a pastry cutter, no big deal. You can do it with 2 knives. Just cross them and cut your butter into your flour and sugar mixture until you have kind of the consistency of wet sand. All right, only 3 more ingredients to make this pie. Next, we're going to use 1/2 cup of molasses, and you do want the dark molasses. 1/2 cup of hot water. Now, this is not hot. I'm going to have to heat this in the microwave because we use distilled water. We don't drink tap water. But I will heat this in the microwave, so 1/2 cup of water, and then 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. That's it.
Plus your pie shell.
Well, that's true. If you want to count the pie shell, that's your 7th ingredient. And I did put my pie shell in the pie plate this morning and got it ready. I'm not going to show you how to make a pie crust and how to put it in. I've done that over and over and over, and I know some of you have watched it until you're probably tired of seeing me do that. So my pie crust is already ready. If you don't want to make a pie crust or use one that you buy at the store, you can get a frozen crust right out of the frozen food section at your grocery store, and that will work fine, I promise. Okay, the first thing we have to do is make our crumb topping and set that aside. So I'm going to start by putting our flour and sugar in our bowl and getting the butter cut into that. So I'm just putting all those in. I think I will mix the flour and the sugar just a little bit before I put that butter in, just to make sure it's combined and we don't have big lumps, especially big lumps of that brown sugar. I just want to make sure it's mixed in well.
So that was a tightly packed.
It was tightly packed. Yes, I packed it in because that's exactly what Kate's recipe says. So that's one reason that I felt like I should go ahead and kind of mix the 2 together just to make sure that that packed brown sugar was loosened up some. Okay, so now we're going to put in 1/2 stick of butter. That's 4 tablespoons. And we're just going to cut that in. Now that's going to take a little time. Don't feel rushed doing this. Just take your time and cut that butter in and make sure it's completely incorporated before you set it aside. And that's going to take just a few minutes. All right, I have my butter incorporated, and you can see that it's just really finely ground into that sugar and cinnamon mixture. And now we're just going to set that aside because we're going to wait and put that on top of our pie. I did heat my water in the microwave, and I think you might be able to see it steaming. Put it in for about a minute. So I'm just going to add that to my bowl along with my molasses. Now, if you're like me, you're probably saying, how in the world can a half cup of water and a half cup of molasses be enough for a deep dish pie shell? Well, that's a good question. What I have read about Shoo-Fly Pie is that it does puff up quite a bit as it bakes. And so you do need a deep dish for this, or you can bake it in 2 regular 8-inch pie shells.
And the baking soda is probably going to really increase the...
I would think so.
I guess.
You know what? I should have used a whisk for this, but I think this will be fine. It looks like it's mixing okay.
I have a confession.
Okay.
I've never had a Shoo-Fly Pie.
Never?
Never.
Well, that's probably because I've never made one.
That's true, but you know, I did have a little bit of a life before I married you.
Well, yeah.
But I just, never had the Shoo-Fly Pie.
Okay, well, I can remember the first time I had Shoo-Fly Pie.
I'm going to be honest and say, I think there was a time in my life when I didn't think it was really a pie because I've heard it in like nursery rhymes and stories.
Yeah.
And I guess I just thought it was made up for,
okay,
to go in the story, to rhyme.
I can remember the first time I had Shoo-Fly Pie. I think I was a junior in high school, and my family took a trip to Niagara Falls. And, okay, now you might be able to tell that when I put that baking soda in, it started foaming. So we're going to stir that in. We took a trip to Niagara Falls, and we stopped in a community, an Amish community.
Oh, I hear it fizzing.
Yeah. We stopped in an Amish community for a couple of days and ate at an Amish buffet that had Shoo-Fly Pie. And I can remember eating it thinking, this is so different from any pie I've ever had. So, yeah, I can remember that. I also distinctly remember that while we were there, we went to a little bakery, a little pastry place, and they had the most delicious cookies. They were so good. I now know that they were whoopie pies. But back then, I'd never heard of them. But they were so good. Now, I'm going to just pour this directly into our pie crust. And you can see that's not a lot.
It's going to have to really puff up.
It is. But listen, I trust Kate. I trust this recipe. And so I am not worried about that at all.
And this crust goes on top, right? Is it going to sink?
I don't know. I mean, how could it not? This is just liquid. So
Okay.
how could it not?
Interesting.
It is. Okay, you know what I'm getting ready to do.
I do.
I just can't stand it. I'm going to
But
have to
who's been around
scrape
here very
this.
long also knows.
I have to scrape all this out, especially since there's no more in the pie crust than that. Okay. Let's scrape out the bowl. So I can distinctly remember the first time I had Shoo-Fly Pie and the first time I had whoopie pies. And they made such an impression on me, I have never forgotten it. Now we do have a Mennonite restaurant. Well, it's a store. It's a little grocery store and a bakery and a deli that is literally just up the road from our house called Walnut Leaf. And they occasionally have Shoo-Fly Pie on their bakery shelf. So, but I've never had theirs. Okay, I guess according to Kate's recipe, I just sprinkle this right on top. So
It seems like a lot of topping for...
It sure does, doesn't it?
But I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yep. I'm going to go around the edges first because I want to make sure that there's plenty around the edge. Okay, now I'll start putting some in the middle. I'm just gonna pile it right up there. This does feel like a lot, but you know what? It's brown sugar. I mean, can it really be too bad?
Well, it's not sinking as much as I thought it was going to.
No, I thought it would too, but it's not. So I'm just gonna try to sprinkle it around the best I can, and then I'll just use my fingers to try to even it out some. Okay. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna get a fork and try to even it out with a fork, because I think I'll have better luck than using my fingers. Okay. That's it, folks. That's all there is to it. Now, our oven is preheated to 450 degrees. We're going to put it in for 10 minutes. We're not going to open the door, but after that 10 minutes, we are going to reduce the temperature to 350 and let it continue to bake for another 20 minutes. So a total of 30 minutes, 10 minutes at 450, then reduce the temperature to 350 and let it continue to bake for 20 more minutes. All right, in we go. Our timer has just gone off for the first 10 minutes. So I'm going to reduce our temperature to 350. We will start that. We're not opening the oven door. And I'm going to restart my timer at 20 minutes. And we will leave it for 20 minutes at 350. And then we'll take it out of the oven.
You were going to have to discuss the pie shield.
That's true. I forgot to tell you that I did put a pie shield around the edges of the crust to protect the crust from over baking. So I just have one of those rings that goes around your pie crust, and I just set that on there as I was putting it in the oven. Okay, we'll be back. Well, it's been hours since the pie came out of the oven. Melissa and I have been to the gym and walked on the treadmills and worked out. We went grocery shopping. We picked up pizza at Domino's and brought it home and watched Netflix. And now it's time for dessert. I know, if you work out, you should get to come home and have dessert, right?
Well, yeah, and pizza to go with it, hey.
Lord help us. Okay, you ready, babe?
Absolutely. This will
Here
be a
we go.
first.
This is a first for you. And of course, we have to have vanilla ice cream with it. I've got to get it on my fork. There we go.
I like it. There's absolutely nothing I can think of to compare it to.
Wow.
That's very good.
I love that.
I can
like
definitely,
molasses.
as I say, I can definitely taste the molasses. Obviously, there's not much to compete with that flavor. The crunchiness on the topping is good.
The sugar, the brown sugar on the top is really good. And I know this sounds crazy, but the vanilla ice cream kind of helps the sweetness of the pie.
Do you have to use, I wonder if you have to use dark molasses too. Oh, but I bet it would be good with the light molasses too.
I don't know. I've never heard of it being made with anything but dark molasses.
I don't know. I'll show the inside of it here.
You just show that and I'll keep eating. That is really good. For me, I would definitely serve it with the vanilla ice cream. I just think they complement each other really well. Kate, we really do appreciate you sending the recipe to us. Actually, Kate sent 4 recipes. This was one of them. And we do appreciate you sending those. Remember that right below this video, there's a description box, and in it it's going to say Shoo-Fly Pie. If you click in there, that box will expand. You'll find the written recipe. You'll find our mailing address if you want to mail a recipe or recipes to us. You'll find a link to our publishing company, reformationpublishers.com, where you can order our book, and you will find a place at the very bottom of the page where you can leave us a comment, and we do love hearing from you. Also, right below the video, there's a like button. We would appreciate you clicking that. And there's a subscribe button. If you've never subscribed, we invite you to hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell, and the word all. We do appreciate you being here for our video. We're going to finish out this month with all recipes from our subscribers. So make sure you come back every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday to see what our next recipe is from our subscriber. We do appreciate you being here, and we want you to remember that you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.